and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about something that I also think it was a big struggle for me, and I'm going to choose topics that I really am comfortable talking about because I feel like it's important to just share your experiences in terms of like what worked for you. So this topic today is about why you shouldn't care about what people think of you. And for the longest time, like it took me 25 years to unlearn the fact that people really don't care. Like I used to think that people really like judge me or think about like people just don't care. Like I feel like people these days only worry about themselves, which is a good thing, which is why I'm here to tell you you should only worry about yourself. I mean, there's certain circumstances where you should take advice or mentorship, but I'm talking about the excessiveness of worrying about what people think of you. That should go because it's just wasting your energy, it's wasting your time, it's distorting your vision and your goals as well, and it's just not giving you mental clarity to think about what's best for you. So in this video, I'll just be going over why you should not care in the first place, or tips that just work for me in terms of like how to overcome that fear or just fear of judgment or fear of like, I'm just, people are just thinking negative about me. Who cares? Like, who cares? The first thing I want to say is it's nobody's business. It's your business. Like, I just feel like you live your life the way you've lived it. You've failed, you've succeeded. Nobody knows what you've been through. And I feel like when we take some other people's experiences and try to apply it to our life, taking other people's failures to learn from them is fine. But when we constantly get advice from people and we're just like, for example, like taking a serious life, like big life advice from someone in terms of like career or what we should do, that's what works for them. Sometimes, like, unless they're a person that is specialized in career consultation, then I feel like we have to do our own research in terms of what works for us before we start taking other people's advices, because you're the one that's going to be stuck with the end result. And that's just coming to my second point, is that you're the one that's going to be stuck with the end result. For example, if somebody tells you to do something specific and then you end up like your instinct is telling you not to do it because you're not going to enjoy it, but it's something that they enjoy, you're going to be the one stuck in a bored job. You're going to hate your life for it. And it's just not worth it in terms of like conserving your energy for what works for you and just doing your research. Maybe asking for tips and asking for advice is fine, but not to the point that really impacts your decisions. Because at the end of the day, it becomes a burden when you try to please everyone. And that brings me to my third point, is that we cannot please everybody. It's really hard to just try to build up on people's standards or try to like meet everybody's expectations. It's very difficult. Try to please everyone is almost impossible, and I don't even suggest for anyone to try and do it because people just are not easily pleased, and it's just none of our business. Like, I don't care how many people I please. I just want to please myself. Like, I just want to be able to be confident in what I do and make an impact in the world. That's all I care about. And people just really don't know what's best for you. Like I said earlier, that people will give you advice based on what works for them, not what works for you, because they haven't lived your life. They might be happy about something that makes you miserable, or you might love something that makes them sad. So it's just like, where do you really take advice? You have to be very careful about that, because allowing people to invest in your life is a big risk. And oftentimes not a lot of people invest in you. So that's why it becomes a burden when you try to meet everyone's standards. It's not easy. And just listening or caring about what people say or think about you is just like, you're really like hindering or stopping yourself from reaching your goals, because it becomes a burden to you. You start becoming worried about what standards you're meeting or what standards you're not meeting. And I just think in general that we are the ones who create our own standards. And if you're going off based on someone else's standards, I think this is the time where you need to just take a note down and do your own research and create your own standards, because we live based on our own standards. No one else's opinion or experiences matter to us, only when we're trying to take it just to better ourselves. But in terms of like making big impactful decisions in your life, don't let anyone invest in your life to that extent, because it becomes very burdening. If it's hard for you to know what works for you, just look at your mistakes and look at your faults and look at your successes, what worked best for you. Figure out the areas that you're very strong in. These are the places where you need to work at. If you want to learn new skills and learn new hobbies, that's fine. Like, as long as it doesn't affect your life negatively, don't care about what people think of you, because really it just creates a headache and you don't end up finding any answers. Like, you keep asking yourself questions that there's no answer to. So just don't worry about it. At the end of the day, You might think somebody's thinking, or you might think somebody's thinking negative of you, but honestly, they're thinking positive of themselves. Think about that. So why don't you just think positive of yourself and invest that time into yourself and just become a better person? Because like, we live in a world that's very fast paced. Like, we have no time to slow down for people. I really don't have the time to stop and think about what people think of me, because I really don't care just as much as they don't care. So why create that middle ground where I'm worried and they think I'm worried? Like, why? Like, you have limited time in this life to use it. Use it to make an impact. The moment you start being productive in your life and making an impact in other people's lives, or just making someone else's life better, that's the moment you're going to invest in yourself more. And that's when you discover yourself and discover what you really like. So this brings me to the end of the video. I really hope you liked it. And just remember, nobody cares, so you shouldn't. Thank you, and see you next time.